Hi guys, it's Miss Bakes a Lot, and today we're going to make a cookies and cream cake. Now ordinarily I wouldn't make a cake on here because I hate making cakes, but my son asked me to make a cookies and cream cake for his birthday, and this one is a little bit special, a little bit different because it has a white ganache filling with cookies in it for the cookies and cream part, but I'm also going to do a cookies and cream frosting, but not buttercream. This one actually has a whipped white chocolate ganache frosting that is amazing, you guys. And I'm going to put crushed up cookies in that. But this frosting, the whipped white chocolate ganache frosting, actually tastes kind of like vanilla ice cream. So let's get to it, you guys. Hi guys, it's Miss Bakes a Lot, and today we're going to make a cookies and cream cake. Now ordinarily I wouldn't make a cake on here because I hate making cakes, but this cake, my son asked me to make a cookies and cream cake for his birthday, and this one is a little bit special, a little bit different because it has a white ganache filling with cookies in it for the cookies and cream part, but I'm also going to do a cookies and cream frosting, but not buttercream and not my other buttercream that I made that went crazy. This one actually has a whipped white chocolate ganache frosting that is amazing, you guys. And I'm going to put crushed up cookies in that for another cookies and cream part. But this frosting, the whipped white chocolate ganache frosting, actually tastes kind of like vanilla ice cream. So that's why I'm going to make this one on camera, you guys, because doesn't even have to be for a birthday. But, and I don't have to do much decorating to it because that's the reason I hate making cakes is decorating them. So let's do it, you guys. Okay, so this is not my recipe. This is a recipe by a girl called Amy Cakes Bakes. And I have used her recipes before. In fact, if you've seen my cinnamon roll recipe, she is who I learned to use instant clear gel from. Thank you, Amy, from Amy Cakes Bakes, because this is how I finally got my filling right for my cinnamon rolls. So thank you to her. I have searched high and low for an awesome vanilla cake recipe. I don't know about you guys, but vanilla is the hardest cake to find a good recipe for. I don't have one. I've tried a million of them. I'm going to try hers. I have high hopes because she has a lot of ingredients in hers that I haven't seen before. Vanilla cake is always just so bland and it just doesn't wow me. So I'm looking for a recipe that wows me. And so I'm hoping this is the one. So let's try it. I have high hopes for her because I like her recipes. Yeah. So the first thing we're going to do, as usual, we're going to get our dry ingredients mixed together. Now she recommends using weights, but she has weight and she has cups. So I'm going to use cups. Just make sure if you're going to use cups, fluff your flour really well, because if you don't, your cake is going to end up dense. So just make sure that you fluff it well. Still going to probably end up using a little bit too much if you don't use weight. But I'm a die-hard. I'm still going to use cups. So I'm going to double the recipe because we have a big family and I'm going to use 3 9-inch pans. So this recipe is for 2 8-inch pans. So I'm going to double the recipe. So if you are going to do 2 8-inch pans, then just half this recipe. Okay? So I'm going to start with 3 cups of flour. Going to fluff it really well. And then we're going to do, here she goes, 4 tablespoons of instant clear gel. And what this does is it makes your stuff moister, but it also Makes it stay fresher longer. She is a huge fan of this stuff, and so am I now. One tablespoon of baking powder. And 2 teaspoons of baking soda. One and a half teaspoons of salt. And we're going to mix that in really well. And set that aside. Okay, and then we are going to take what she calls the wet ingredients. You're going to take 1.5 cups of room temperature buttermilk. And you are going to take 1/4 cup of room temperature water. Bear in mind, these are all doubled for me. Now, she says 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract and 2 tablespoons of almond extract, which normally I would do because I love almond extract. But I'm doing a cookies and cream cake, so I don't want like the almond flavor in there. So I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of vanilla extract. Now that might seem like a lot, but most vanilla cakes, you don't really taste the vanilla, so I'm for it. I'm using vanilla bean paste as usual. Give it a little shake just to make sure all the vanilla beans are mixed up in there. Just gives it a little bit more vanilla taste, and that way the extract, none of it will cook out. The extract a little bit bakes out in the oven. We're going to make sure it doesn't. And this is a new one, even for me. Apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon. I trust her though, so I'm doing it. Put that in and give it a good mix. What I do know is that is going to react with the baking soda and the baking powder and give it a good lift. All right, we are going to set that aside. I'm going to leave that in there in case we need to stir it again. Now we are going to start creaming our sugar and butter together. Now this recipe uses butter and oil. That's one of the reasons I like it. If you have a cake recipe that does not use oil, don't use it. I know a lot of the big thing a while ago was if you're using a box cake mix, replace the oil with butter. You're going to get a better flavor, but you're going to get a very dry cake. If you have a cake that doesn't have oil in it, it's going to be dry. So don't do that, you guys. Don't make a cake without oil, please. So she uses butter and oil, okay? So you're going to get flavor and you're going to get moistness. I don't like that word, you guys, but there's really no other word, so that's what we're going to use. But yeah. So we got 1 cup or 2 sticks of butter. Room temperature, squishy. Everything in this recipe, you guys, eggs, buttermilk, all of it, room temperature. Whenever you're baking, unless it's otherwise specified, it should be room temperature. So, and then we need 2 cups of sugar. Just like everything else, you guys, cookies, whatever, cake, make sure you cream this for a good long time. Don't just wait till it comes together and be like, oh, I'm done, add everything else. Cream it for a good 3 to 4 minutes. It should be light and fluffy. Not like that. Turn it on low first. Okay, so here's what mine looks like after 3 or 4 minutes. Nice and light and fluffy. So we're going to add a half cup of oil and a half cup of corn syrup to it. Corn syrup is another one I haven't seen added to cakes. I'm excited. Pour it all over the table. I'm not that excited about that though. All right, I'm going to scrape my bowl. And then we're going to add 2 room temperature eggs. You get everything off the bottom. Add your eggs one at a time while it's still beating. Make sure you crack them into something else so you don't get a shell or a bloody egg in there. And then we're going to start alternating our dry and wet ingredients. And once you start getting the flour in there, that's when you want to be careful about over mixing, because that also, if you over mix, it's going to develop the gluten too much, and then you're going to get a dry tough cake. So we got to be careful. That's why she's saying to mix it in parts. A little bit of wet, a little bit of dry, very carefully. Okay, so I'm going to add, she says a third at a time, so that's what I'm going to do. She adds about a third of the dry and a third of the wet. Beats it a little bit on low. Give it a little scrape. Three times we're going to do this. Make sure you get the bottom. Doesn't have to beat in all 3 times. And we're going to add a little dry, a little wet. Give it a little mix. And give it a little scrape. See, I did have some flour stuck to the bottom of mine. And then we're going to do that one more time, and this time we're going to make sure it is mixed well. Yep. Dry. Wet. This time I'm also going to put my towel on here because I feel like it's going to go everywhere. So we're getting a little full. And I'm going to give it a little scrape the bottom before we finish, because again, I don't want to over mix it, so I want to give my mixer a little help. Make sure there's nothing on the bottom. And if you guys don't want to make this particular vanilla cake, if you have a favorite vanilla cake recipe, go ahead and use that, because tomorrow I'm going to show you guys the other part, the filling and the frosting. So I'm just doing this because I'm doing it. So I'm going to give this a couple spins. And there, that's good. But we have to do one more thing, you guys. There is a couple extra steps to this recipe, but I feel like it's going to be worth it. Teaspoon. Okay, so you are going to get 4 egg whites. Mine are room temperature because they whip up better. And you're going to get a ½ teaspoon of cream of tartar. And that just helps them whip better. And we are going to whip these to stiff peaks. Whip them on high. Okay, so mine are at pretty stiff peaks. I don't know if you can see. So I'm going to call mine good. So we are to take our egg whites and fold it into our batter. That's not going to be easy for me because I doubled mine, but we're going to just do our best. She says it's ready when you can no longer see your egg whites. And she says to do it half at a time, but I'm going to try to do mine all at once. Make sure you get the bottom up. Get it all over the table. You knew it was going to happen. You knew it. It's okay. It's going to happen to you too, probably. Now, here is where I go off the rails just a little bit. She recommends that you bake this in a large sheet pan, and then she likes to cut her cake circles out of it. Like, like cut 8-inch circles or 9-inch circles out of a large sheet pan. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to bake mine actually in the pans. And here is where I actually will use a kitchen scale. I bet you guys thought I didn't even own one, didn't you? But I do. Because I do like all my cake batter to be the same. So I do weigh out my cake batter because I want all my cakes to be the same size. So I'm going to start with, let's see, we'll see what looks about 1/3 of the batter. You guys will never guess, but I'm making a mess over here. Okay. 640. So they all end up having about 660 in them. I'm just going to take my little offset spatula and spread them out a little bit so they're nice and flat. And then I'm going to give them a little tap so they're even. Now, she says to put these in the oven at 325. Preheat your oven at 325, guys. I probably didn't tell you that. She says to put these in the oven at 325 for 18 minutes, then turn it down to 300 for an additional 6 to 8 minutes. Mine's probably going to be different because I'm not using the same pan as her. So I'm going to put it in at 325 for 15 minutes. Then I'm going to turn it down to 300 and start checking it at about maybe 4 minutes because these cakes are a lot smaller. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll be back when they're done and let you know what happens, what I did. Okay, so here they are out of the oven, nice and golden brown. They actually went, I turned them down at 15, I turned them down to 300, and they actually took like another 10 to 12 minutes. Because they're only baking at 300, they're going to take a little bit longer. So yours It could be different just because ovens are different, but yeah. So I started checking them at 6, but yeah, they weren't even nearly done. So I just kept turning my oven on for like 4 minutes after that. So yeah, turn it down at 15 and then just keep checking them. But they're a beautiful golden brown color. I'm going to let them cool. And then I'm going to wrap mine in plastic wrap and put them in the freezer overnight and then do the cakes tomorrow because I always do that, you guys. It doesn't matter. I'm not short on time at all. I always bake my cakes the night before I'm going to do them because I love cakes out of the freezer. I don't know what happens in there, some kind of chemical reaction, whatever. Cakes are moister, cakes taste better out of the freezer. You can ask bakers that, whatever. Fight me on this. It's absolutely true. I will do my cupcakes. I will do my cakes always the night before. Or you can even do it a couple nights before. But yeah, I'm going to wrap them in plastic wrap really well and put them back in the freezer. All right, so these are cool. This is the only time you're going to see me playing with plastic wrap because I hate it. I usually make my husband do this. You know, they have those giant Ziplocs. I think I'm going to have my husband go buy me some of those. I haven't thought of that before, but that's probably what I might do. I might try it. So I lay them crisscross to each other. Kind of like that. And then watch how nice your cake comes out when you use parchment paper. You guys probably can't see that. Like that. It just comes out. And I leave my parchment paper on. All right, and then I just start folding my sides. Wrap it up nice. And then I am going to take one more piece and wrap it again. So then I'll lay it like this and fold it again because when I put it in the freezer, I want to put it on the bottom side down. All right, so that's all there is to it, you guys. I'm going to put them in the freezer. Tomorrow I'm going to come back and decorate them. But right now, I get to go make a birthday cake, flavored birthday cake. So, see you guys tomorrow. Well, probably not unless you're doing the whole thing with me. But anyways, I'm going to say have a great day because if you're only watching this video for the vanilla cake, have a great day. Thank you guys for watching.